The hills are alive with the sound of music today. I remember being a kid in the summer out here on the West Coast, though, because the sun don't go down until late in the summer out here on the West Coast. And one of the funnest parts of, being out of school for the summer was knowing that mom wasn't going to make you come inside at 8. 9 or 9:30 was when she started looking for you. How's it hanging? I just finished the Twilight Saga and my mind is completely mush. Unbelievable set of movies. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I'm working on my retrospective review, and it is going to be a doozy, I think, because this movie was 10 Shades of Wild, 50 Shades of Wild. Wait, you think we should watch 50 Shades of Grey?
That would be a different thing. I think that'd be better as like.
But 50 Shades of Grey is an Edward Bella fanfic.
Yeah. I don't think you want to do both. I think it's got to be a separate thing.
Ruby, I got to tell you, I thought I was going to be rolling my eyes, but I'd say by the end of movie 2, I was invested. I needed to know what happened. I wanted to know how it was all going to work out. Maybe not for the same reasons as everybody else, but it was an unexpectedly fun ride to take. It was kind of wild. Praise Paul? Cool.
Yeah. And even as you soured towards the end, you still had to know.
I had to know. I had to know how it all worked out. Really? I'm actually really surprised to hear that. Yeah. I think it might have been augmented. I think it might have gotten some points because Amelia read the books and liked the movies as a kid. And so she knows a lot about the movies that you probably wouldn't know as a layperson on the first watch. And that made it interesting too. Plus, I love watching movies with Amelia, so we get to stop and pause and fuck on the movie and laugh about it whenever we want. So that probably helped it a little bit, but I gotta be honest with you. I wanted to know what happened. I wanted to know how it all worked out. I wanted to know what the fuck was going on. And I hate to tell you, I don't think I know the answer to any of those questions yet. I don't know exactly what was going on or what happened, but I can tell you I went on a journey, okay? And I feel like that journey was into the minds of women. The female power fantasy is in full effect in this movie, and it is far more terrifying than I ever thought it would be. It doesn't resemble, even in the slightest, the male power fantasy, which is terrifying in its own right. It is a whole different beast. It is a beast. Have I seen the new Superman movie? No. I might go see it this weekend or something, though. Just like TJ said, just to piss off all of the like wokies or whatever that are, or the anti-wokies that are mad at it or something. Isn't that what's going on with it? Or the Superman purists or some shit.
Because he says he's an immigrant. That's what
yeah, okay. Yeah, to piss off the racists. Let's go give Superman some money. You wanna this weekend?
Maybe.
Do a little Supermanin'. Uh-oh. Damn. I think there's about to be a fist fight over there, yo. Look at me, band.
Well, they made another I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Mm-hmm. They did. Yeah, they made another Scream recently. They started working on another Scream recently. They're bringing. It's just like it's happening, just like it did in the early So in the early 2000s, they started remaking all the 80s horror stuff, and they ran through the gamut of that by about 2015, and now they're starting to ramp up the 90s horror stuff. And they've got a few under their belt already, and they're, Final Destination, all of them. When they're done with those, that's the question. I want to live long enough to when they are done, are they just going to go back and start again? Back to the 70s, rehash everything. Back to the 80s, rehash everything. Or is it actually going to force a reckoning in the creative community to come up with a new idea, a new character, a new franchise, a new horror villain for everybody to love to hate? How was the pizza? Bro, pizza was fire. Fire.
And you needed it.
Oh, I needed it. I needed the grease bomb. I needed the calorie bomb, the carb bomb. I needed to eat my feelings because my feelings were wrapped up in this Twilight shit.
And they were pulled.
Oh, my feelings were jerked around, played with. I feel like the victim of Bella now.
Yeah.
Bella the great manipulator, Bella the web weaver, Bella the shiny spider at the center of the fucking egg sack. Jean-Claude Van Damme died? You're already banned. I will unban you if he's dead. How was Rebirth bad? There is no Rebirth.
Let's see. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Wiki still says is.
Uh-oh.
And Wikipedia's fast.
I mean, if you just go to Google, search his name by news, that'll alleviate any doubt. I used to have
it was, the last thing was he was accused of having sexual relations with someone trafficked back in April.
Unban Scuba Steve for me. I know that guy. Give him one more chance. I don't think I know him, but I think he's been around before. Anyway. What were you saying?
He's just part of some scandal.
Oh. Got it. Thank you. Yeah, you got banned for a second for some reason. But you were unbanned, so don't worry about it. I caught it. It's okay. Listen, when these first start up, bro, it is a tidal wave of horse shit. And I think somebody kind of like fucking, I think, trigger happy. Dude, I've done it before. I'm not blaming it. My mods are the greatest mods on the fucking planet, but they're not infallible, okay? No, I know Scuba Steve. It was Ruby. Oh, that's okay, Ruby. Don't worry about it. You were forgiven before you transgressed. No, Scuba Steve is an old timer, I think. He's been in for a while, and I just recognize his name, and I know I associate Scuba Steve with chill. So I think he's okay. Not even a 10-minute timeout. Oh no, dude, if you're hella stupid, like if you're posting like literal fucking trash, just like misspellings, skibbity ass fucking bullshit, you're trying to meme, you're trying to ligma me, you don't get a 10-minute, dude. You get a perm. It's perma, bro. It's a perma. I ain't got no time to train other people's kids, bro. I just don't. You look like Yuso? You look like it's Yuso. You so crazy? You so fat? You so stupid? This is always a chill stream. I don't know about always. I don't know always, and I don't know about chill, but I try and stay chill most of the times. Why do people provoke? Because some people, I think there's multiple layers to it. I think the easiest layer and probably the widest layer is just basic entertainment value, right? Watching somebody else crash out is fun. So if you can scroll around the internet and say stupid and pertinent shit to people and cause a crash out, it's kind of fun to watch that. I think, too, I think there's a reason, though, that why people, because you could fill your life with something that isn't a crash out, right? So why the negativity? Why at the expense of another person? And the answer to that is, I think people like crash outs these days. I have a theory about this. You know how, like, crash out is, like, the worst thing you can do right now? I actually think it's one of the best things that you can do right now. And let me tell you why. I think people are obsessed with crash outs. I think if you do a normal channel and you have a crash out, you're going to get 6 times the views that you got on your normal channel, right? And so it's like people are saying no, but they're meaning yes. That sounds bad from a consent point of view, but I'm not talking about consent. I'm literally talking about content. People are saying, oh, look at these lol cows. Oh, look at this guy. He crashed out. But that's all they want to see. They're hoping to open their Twitter every day and see somebody crash out. So in that instance, and I think that's a broad net too, I think there's a lot of people that would apply to. And I don't think they're mutually exclusive either. And so within that second one, I think that there's probably a little bit of like vicarious living going on. I think there are some people who under no circumstances would they ever pop off at the mouth, tea kettle, get mad, get brolic, whatever it is, right? They're just not that type of person, but it's satisfying to them to see somebody else do it. Uh, extemporaneously. Because it's just not something they can or would do. Should you fight the provoker? There's no shoulds in life other than, you should treat others the way you expect to be treated. Once again, I say it a lot. There is a God. Her name is karma. So do unto others. The golden rule, right? Don't you think people want meaningful connections? Oh, sure. But I don't think people want meaningful connections when they're just kind of like doom scrolling at home through the shorts. I think they're, maybe some people are looking for that, but I think most people that are doing that, at least from my estimation, are looking to see somebody crash out or pop a titty out or say something they shouldn't say or do a line of coke or like do anything transgressive. And I think the reason for that is, number one, just kind of like the dopamine hit you get from seeing somebody do something stupid and inadvisable. And number two, you're incapable of doing those things because you're kind of scared to, or you're incapable of doing those things because you're kind of like too mentally tied up to do it, or you're too awkward to do it, or whatever the case may be, right? I think a lot of it is just vicarious living. Maybe it's not none of those things. Maybe you just feel zero passion ever about anything. And seeing somebody provoked to anger is like seeing human passion. It's the only way that you can experience it vicariously, right? Projection? How am I projecting? I'm a content creator. I'm talking about content creators. Haven't crash outs been popular? Well, yeah. They didn't go by the term crash out until, the last 2-3 years or some shit probably, but yeah. No, I mean, crash outs used to be called meltdowns, and before that, they were called, something else probably. But yeah, that's always been the case, or at least, maybe not always, but like as always as I'm aware of on the internet, people have been looking for people acting crazy, getting passionate about things, yelling, doing crazy stunts, saying things that they would never say, taking positions that they would never take, thinking of things that they could never think of, saying things and doing things that they can only imagine doing. That's the whole content creation thing, right? But we're talking about a subset of this. We're talking a subset of people that are just here kind of to see somebody fucking lose it. Right? Get mad, start blubbering, punch somebody in the face, start calling their mom, start threatening violence over the internet, right? Any number of things. Coughlin. TJ, I'm asking you as a fucking human being, man. TJ, please leave me alone. Are you a liberal? Fuck, no. Don't ever, no, I'm not a liberal. I'm a leftist. And there is a big difference. If you're a conservative asking that question, liberals are way closer to you than I am. Liberals love war, liberals love this, no. I'm a fucking hard leftist, bro. You know, borderline anarchist, borderline fucking, yeah. One world government, globalize the universe, ban the guns. Commie? Nah, I don't really like commies. I think communism just, I think it's a good idea that maybe could be expounded on, but I think it needs some real fundamental change. It needs some brilliant minds to twist it around a little bit and make something a little more functional. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm not a huge fan of the commies. Socialism kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth too, because you know we've seen some democratic socialist candidates get elected, or some people that are kind of aligned that way but ran as Democrats, and you know I'm not at all fucking pleased at how they've come together as a group, and I'm not at all that impressed by their voting records on issues that mean a lot to me. So. Tell me about it. Well, you know, I would say the same about the Republican side of things too. You know what I mean? For me, dude, you want to know where I'm at, Jeremiah? Because I saw that you were like pissed off I was a lefty, but let me tell you where I'm at, honestly. When it comes to these politics things, bro, fuck them all. They've been leading us down the primrose path for too long, and they've had people like, I'm assuming you're more conservative, Jeremiah. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But I feel like if you are, they've been playing people like you and me against each other for a long time, and they've been running out the back with a fat bag of cash. And, you know, I'm done with that. You know what I mean? No. I'm not saying you're pissed. I'm just saying they've been playing people like you and me against each other. They want you to hate every lefty. They want you to hate every lib. They want every lib to hate every fucking Trump voter. You know what I mean? I feel like that we're being told by everybody around us two versions of the same lie, that your neighbor is your enemy because of their political beliefs. Your neighbor is your enemy because of who and what they voted for. You know what I'm talking about? That's all I'm saying, Jeremiah. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to say anything more than that. Not even from the U.S.? Okay, well, fair enough then. However it works. Whatever it means to you there, then, I feel like it's probably happening in your country too. You're probably being told by 2 or 3 different political parties to hate everybody that voted for the other ones, and that the other ones are the responsible parties for all of the fucking misery that everybody's experiencing, and that they're the ones that are going to fix it, right? So there you go. So I think we're in the same boat. We might not believe the same politics, but I think we're in the same fucking boat. Same boat, still floats. It's all the same. No one has any power. Well, we do. We have power, but power comes at a sacrifice, right? So if we use our power, it's going to mean a lot of people walking away from their jobs and their safety, and just piling into these big cities and shutting them down until our needs are met and our voices are heard. It's the only time it's ever worked in American history, right? Is when people got together in sufficient enough numbers and saying we will not be moved until the government had to do something. Either run us over with tanks, kill us all in front of the news media, and show what you are, or give us what we want, right? That's what we're talking about, the civil rights movement. We're talking about the Vietnam War movement, right? People are too divided. People have always been divided, but I get what you're saying, man. Like, people are divided for the wrong reasons today. Like, it's okay to not like a motherfucker, and it's honestly okay not to not like a motherfucker because of their politics. What I'm saying is like, don't prejudge a person or their intent, right? Just because they voted this way or that. Don't get sucked into the media vortex of everybody that did this is a horrible demon, because that's what you're hearing from the lib side. It's sour grapes. Everybody that voted for Trump is a Nazi. Everybody that voted for Trump is evil, right? But if it had been the other way around and Kamala had won, I don't think there was ever a chance of that, by the way, but hypothetically, Kamala wins, it would be the same thing. Oh, that bitch, they just hate Trump, and they hate us because we love Trump, and you know what I mean? And it would have been the same thing. It would have been the same thing, right? And I know this. This is not theory crafting. I know this because I've lived through it. I'm 45. That's not ancient, but it's significant enough. I've been through enough political cycles now. I know how the game's played. I know which way the wind is blowing. And it's not blowing towards positive change for any normal working people with families, jobs, businesses. Pretty much uniformly across the board, people that are in those positions are doing worse this year than they were last. And you could say the same last year and the year before and the year before and the year before. You know what I mean? So let's be honest with each other as conservatives and lefties and centrists and non-political people about what's going on. And let's start talking at least and see where we can meet. I would rather do that than participate in the fucking 24/7, 365 hate train that politics has become. We're already talking about the next election. There are people already screaming about on Twitter. It's like they don't know how to do anything else. There ain't an election on. They pretend there is. It's a hypothetical election that's on. It's this. It's that. It's never ending, and it's gotten us nothing but a slow degradation of our values, a slow degradation of our civil liberties, and a slow degradation of our respect and power, and the power that we project. And when I say we, the U.S., in the world. That's it. That's all it's bought us. That and a couple of people that are on the cusp of being trillionaires in our country. That's our payoff, is that 2 or 3 dudes are real close to being the first trillionaires on paper in the world. Although there's probably trillionaires already on the planet. There's a lot of grift, graft, and theft and hiding of assets that go on the planet. And there's a lot of black boxes, too. Nobody knows what the Saudi prince is actually worth. There's no way to even quantify it because they're royals. They don't report to the plebeians on the treasury. You kidding?
Wealth and assets that are easily
No.
measured.
There are no laws forcing them to be transparent about their incomes or what money the country has. They're royal. Rural America is suffering. Urban America is suffering. Look, Jeremiah's not even from this country. Everyone is, he says. Nice watch, thanks. I know how to fix it, Paul. I know you don't. If you did, you'd be doing it. I'm okay. I bet there are already. Yeah. I was just saying that. I wouldn't be shocked if one of these royal families, there's multiple trillionaires in it, or if one of these royals has achieved trillionaire status, or if Elon Musk is only not a trillionaire on paper. Off paper, if you talk about the money he's got stashed in the Caymans and this, that, Swiss, that, he might be well above a trillionaire. Yeah. Musk is not a politician. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. He spent the last year doing politics. It doesn't matter that he hasn't been elected. It's like saying, like, if you lose, you're not a politician. You're a politician. He spent the last year working for a fucking politician. He's in politics. He's a politician. That's why everybody hates him now. He used to be a lefty guy, so the right hated him for that. But he was able to use his power and influence to get the EV mandate passed, right? Then he decided to backstab all the lefties, right? So now the lefties hate him, joined MAGA. Then he decided to backstab MAGA, and now MAGA hates him. And so he's really like kind of just fucked himself at about 60% of the electorate at least, if not more. He's done, but he's a washed up politician, but a politician he is. Speak regarding AI. Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know if I want to do it tonight, Blue Noble, but I've got your deets now, so we can do it in the future. The future is always the future. Isn't that the truth? It's an odd argument to say that people directly involved in politics and policy aren't politicians. What? It's all good when the moon hangs in the sky at the right time, my friend. Yes, 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 yes. It's an odd argument to say that people directly involved in politics and policy aren't politicians. Right, yeah. I think you're right. It would be an odder argument that Musk is not a politician. It'd be like saying like Steve Bannon's not a politician. He's not getting elected. That's all he does is politics. And Elon Musk for the last fucking year or more was nothing but a MAGA trumpet boy. You know, bought a whole fucking social media platform so he could help Trump win, and fucking basically fucked off his rockets to the point where they're all blowing up now. You know what I mean? Lost all his subsidies. Now he's on Trump's shit list. You know, he just basically fucked himself out of any credibility he had with either side of the political aisle, and nobody's going to buy this centrist Elon figure that he's trying to make. So, it ain't no big deal. Well, look at where I'm sitting, bro. Like, what do you think I enjoy more? Outdoor life or city life? You tell me. You tell me which one that I'm into. Am I a witch? No. Are you a bitch? I answered your question. You answered mine. Are you a little bitch? How is it, bruh? It could be worse, friend. I'm doing all right. How are you? Well, I'm not trying to be mean either. I'm asking a genuine question. You a little bitch? Yeah, see, Femboy's a little bitch. Louisiana? No. I used to live in Louisiana. I used to live on the north shore of the Pontchartrain. I was born in the rain on the Pontchartrain during the middle of a hurricane. No, I was actually born in California. I lived all over, though. I lived in Louisiana for 2 years and a little bit of change. Right there on the North Shore. And I got the fuck up out of there, bro. I'm in Washington State now. Up in the mountains in Washington State is where I live and where I stay. Have a beautiful forest. Thank you. It's the magic hour right now too. All right, when the sun is just finishing going down. my favorite time in the forest. Well, I don't know about that. Mornings in the forest are pretty wild too. I like night. Look tropical. It's just lush. I live in old growth. So this tree, you guys can't see it very well, but I'll try and show it to you. So there's a big tree right there. See it? I don't know if you can see it. Hopefully you can. You can't tell from where you are. It's past the leaves and foliage. You're looking at the trunk back there. So that big tree back there is over. Whoa, 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 whoa. What happened? Okay. That tree back there it's like 25 feet in circumference. Yeah, 25 feet all the way around, which would make it, just by like really rough reckoning, over 100 years old, maybe 120, 130, 140 years old. So, yeah. Louisiana was way off, yes. Yeah, you couldn't have, I mean, you could have picked Florida. That would have been farther from me, but that's about the only place you could have picked that would have been farther off, bro. You were one state away from being the opposite side of the United States from me. So you did pretty bad. Not a GeoGuessr guy, yeah. No. If I was in Florida, I'll tell you this, you're not in the US, but I'll tell you how you know the next time you see a guy and you're trying to guess where he's from. Here's how you would know that I was in Florida, okay? I would be sitting here, right? Pouring sweat if I was sitting outside, right? And there would be mosquitoes landing on my face and sucking blood out of me and laying their little larvas, and there'd be big pustules on me. Hold on, let me show you something. They're yellow, but I have them all, right? So I'd be missing like this, maybe one of these, two of these, and one of those. So yeah, that I'm just giving you some. I'm gonna try and help you out. Yeah. Anytime you see a dude that's got gray hair, and all his teeth, you're probably not in the South. You feel me? Probably not from the South. So you can. It's the way it goes. Keep up the good job, ice. Dude, the only ice that will ever do a good job, right, is the ice that they put your body on when you finally croak, so that they can fucking keep you from stinking before they bury you. That's the only ice on the planet that will ever do what I consider to be a good job. Am I a leftist? I hesitate to say yes because I'm to the left of most people who say that they're leftists. But yes, I'm a leftist. Where are you from? I was born in California and I live now in Washington State. But I've lived all over the country too. I lived in Arizona for a while, Texas for a while, Louisiana for a while, Ohio for a while. I've been around these parts. You live in Louisiana? Well, I was right there on the North Shore of the Pontchartrain, sir. Right over the causeway. Yeah, oh, trust me. Well, this place kind of shares that in common with Louisiana, although not so much in the summer. But this place is I live in a semi-technical rainforest, right? It rains a lot of days per year here, 150 or more. Anarcho-communist. Cool, man. I'm a green utopian globalist rewilder. None of that makes sense, but I like to hedge my bets, you know what I mean? I think there are multiple paths to a workable future for humanity. I think they all lie on the left, But yeah, those are kind of where I sit. I don't know, man. I don't know what the fucking thing is, but anarcho-primitivism to a degree. I don't know. I just threw out some labels that I thought kind of defined where I'm at. You guys that have been listening to me for long enough know kind of like my influences are pretty varied right on the left. So listen to a lot of Derek Jensen. That's my primitivist side. I listen to a lot of green utopian stuff. That's my Jacques Fresco side, right? And then globalist stuff. Like that's my, Gene Roddenberry side. you know, I got a little bit of influence from everywhere, right? Thanks for all the great chats. Thanks, buddy. No problem. That's not necessary, but always appreciated. The leavers versus the takers. Yeah, Ishmael. Yeah, faux show. We need a seeds, not bombs campaign in the U.S. I don't know that people are fucking doing hashtags anymore, bro. I think we're beyond that, man. I think that too many people are in the thrall of this political theater that's going on to reach them about global issues anymore, other than to get their opinion on who we're bombing or not, right? And that depends on who's in power when we're bombing them, because the liberals that are all crying foul right now about what Israel was doing were all too happy when Israel was bombing the fuck out of Palestine under Biden's watch. So it's a football game, man. It depends on which person is leading the game. That's how the people perceive the game. And when I say game, I don't mean it derisively, although it should be used derisively as well. But I mean it from a game theory perspective, right? Politics and civil action has been gamified to the point where people treat it much like you would treat like a football game, right? I'm a Raiders fan. I was born in California. I'm a Raiders fan. I always will be, right? I don't care when they lose. I make excuses for them when they lose. If somebody tells me the Raiders lost because they suck, I tell them, nuh-uh. The Raiders lost because they cheated. They rigged the vote. The umpires were against it, right? That reminds you of anything? Both sides of the political aisle now, right? Trump in fucking 2016 and now Kamala Harris and the libs in 2020 doing election denialism and shit. It's literally, we allowed them to gamify politics to the point where none of it matters anymore. It's all just slap ass in the background and pretend fighting in the foreground. And that's it, guys. And I think that might have always been it. I think that might have always been it. Just watch the tariff DFF. Cool. Yeah, that was a Scottisode. We need the public to start social and cultural movements again. I don't know that I agree. Well, I mean, yeah, obviously, I agree with that, but I think that people are still starting movements. In fact, I think there's maybe too many of them now. In fact, I think movements are part of the problem, right? Because they give people this little nest egg of non-change to work within, and then nothing ever happens. I think there's too many options when it comes to social movements. There's too much interest defrayed across too many topics and too many perspectives. And that's because we've lost our ability to look at the big picture. We're all focused on the ever-developing 24-hour news cycle spin, right? And nobody's paying attention to what happened today in their town, right? Nobody's and that's all been gamified too, by the way. What happened today? Oh shit. Ha, that's funny. Let me go fucking post on X to own the libs. Or what happened today? Ah, that's funny. Donald Trump's an idiot. Let me go fucking make fun of people that voted for him on X. Boom, 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 boom. It's just us slugging at each other. It's us punching at each other over shit that ain't ever gonna fucking change. I'm sorry to tell you, fucking Republican people, you're never gonna get the shit that you're really wanting. You're never gonna get smaller government. You're never gonna get lower taxes. You're never gonna get it. And I hate to tell you, liberal people, you're never going to get fucking, a more humane border policy. You're never going to get less people in prison. You're never going to get less war. You're never going to get less famine, and you're never going to get less garbage in the oceans. So look, if the sides that are supporting these things, right, aren't giving the people any of it, then maybe it's time for us to set aside our political disagreements for a minute and kick these fucks out and reestablish our dominance in this country. So I don't know if you guys remember, but, living under a tyrannical government, a free people have a duty to overthrow it, right? Paraphrasing. Well, when's going to be the tyranny? When are we going to call it tyranny? Because they're shipping people out of the country, right? There's just wars on top of wars on top of wars. Doesn't matter who's in office. Immigrants are getting blamed. It's starting to smell Nazi-ish all over the goddamn place, right? When are we going to call it? I called it quite a long time ago. But when I say we, collectively, when we can stop punching each other up, get on the same fucking page for fucking 20 years, 30 years, and fix what's wrong here. So our children and grandchildren's grandchildren have a place to fucking grow up and enjoy and love and have a life, right? They've got something to pursue. They've got something to achieve. They've got something to enjoy and to have a few beautiful moments in your life. Isn't that what it's all about anyway? Dude, you're a conservative out there that's listening to me. Don't we agree on that? Right? You're a liberal. Don't we agree on that? Can we start from that and build outward? Because I'm starting to feel like that we're spinning our wheels in the mud. Bills got to stop being paid. Oh, man. I mean, that's just part of it. But you're right. But see, that'll only happen when the economy gets so bad that people can't pay their bills. People will never stop paying their fucking bills as a sign of fucking aggression or as a sign of fucking protest against the government. They'll never do a fucking wide rent stoppage. Right? Needs to happen. They won't do it. You know why? Because nobody cares about anybody outside of their fucking apartment, house, or living unit. America has finally, the neighborhood has died. The friendly fucking knowing people who you live by, that's all dead. That's all fucking gone. It's out the door. People come and go all the goddamn time in and out of neighborhoods. Nobody cares anymore. They successfully killed that little safety net. And people hate each other now, over politics, right? When we're all cut from the same cloth, we're all brothers and sisters on this planet, genetically speaking. It's just the truth. We all share it, no matter how much we don't wanna. And it's burning and flooding. Literally, figuratively, politically, ecologically, economically. It's burning. The house is burning down. The climate is fucked. The money's disappearing. The rich are getting richer and the poor are getting fucked over and out. And it's been that way my whole life. And I'm 45. And I would like it if some of you 20-year-olds wouldn't have to say that. I would love it if some of you people that are 20, 25 now won't have to say what I'm saying right now. Because I'm telling you, it doesn't feel good to watch nothing fundamentally change in 45 years. War, famine, pestilence. In fact, I lied. Things have changed for the worse. For the worse. So I hope, man, that some of you listening to me that are hearing this in your 20s and your early 30s, I hope you're not as old as me someday having to say what I'm saying, because I ain't lying to you. People are worse off now than they were when I was fucking born. And it's been a slow but predictable slide from there to there. And it doesn't look like it's slowing down. It looks like it's speeding up. And that's what I care about. Who's been in charge since I was born? Democrats and Republicans. What have they been promising since I was born? Free health care, lower taxes, smaller government. Have we gotten any of those things? Less war. Have we gotten any of those things? That's it. So that's my politics. I don't want your life, politically speaking, to have the same trajectory as mine has, because it was a futility for me to pump my effort into the Democratic Party for as long as I did in my 20s. But nobody would have been able to tell me that. I wasn't going to listen to some guy my age. So I'm not really expecting to reach many of you. But I will tell you this. Outside of that, I hope that the world is better for you than it was when you were born into it. I really genuinely do. And I don't care what you believe. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican, you don't vote, you don't care about politics. I really hope that for you. That's my hope for humanity, is that, you know, I'm not saying my life was fucking horrible, but I'm hoping that we can reverse this fucking trajectory, right? Wages are stagnant. I mean, versus inflation for 70 years in this country. That ain't good, guys. The West is in a free fall of corruption and despair. I don't see an out. Yeah, yeah. You know where I see an out, honestly, for some people? And I hate to fucking be this guy because you give up a lot for it. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm saying there is a place that is growing, that has ambition, that has vibrancy, that has art and culture and technology and cities and roads and wonderful, beautiful things that are new and fresh and progressive and forward thinking, right? I didn't say it. Brenton said it, but it's true. China, or more broadly, I guess, Asia, ascendant right now, absolutely to the moon. They're moving the opposite direction at almost the same speed we're moving down. So as we get shittier, they get better. As our cities look funkier and smell funkier, theirs look more like Blade Runner. As our cars get more expensive and less worth purchasing, theirs are blowing up. Not literally, figuratively. They're great. There's a lot of shit going on there I don't like. Go way against my lefty fucking libertine kind of ideals. Right? You can't really say what you think over there, not about the government. You know, you're not really allowed to engage with American media and be open about it. And there's a lot of like restrictions on what you can say, where you can be, that don't really exist here. So it's a trade-off, but it's starting to look like a more and more fucking reasonable trade-off. Because it's not like our civil liberties are expanding over here or something. Oh, we're getting poorer, but at least we're getting freer. No. So it's starting to become like, at what point is the tipping point where it's going to be shittier to live here than it is in China? And we may have already passed that for a lot of people in this country. But I think there's going to be a mass migration wave of people out of the West to the East in the next 20, 30, 40 years. It's already started, to my understanding. Dude, Chinese EV sales are literally the most popular cars being sold across the planet. Think about the soft power that China's cultivating. No, I know. I understand. Trust me, I've been watching. I've been paying attention. I think other people are starting to pay attention too. It's been a big fucking, like, talking point for a couple of years now. It's started to be really, you start videos like, here's what it's like. Hey, I'm an American expat living in China. Here's what I do. Here's how much it costs for me to eat. Here's the apartment I live in. Here's how much it costs me in American dollars a month. Dude, there's a million of those. And, you know, yeah, some of that like soft propaganda, sure. But every time American does it, it's soft propaganda too, right? Hi, I'm a European that moved to America. Here's how I live in Seattle, Washington. You know what I mean? It's like that. It's everywhere, right? So you can't say, you just turn your nose up and say propaganda. Are they lying? And the answer, not a lot of the time, no. It is cheaper to live there and you get more for your money there, right? It is easier to live there and you get more for your money there, right? There are more options, right? Developing all the time in China for things to do, and their urban centers are destination worthy in themselves, right? Look at Chengdu. Just look at that city and tell me you're not living fucking 90 years in the past here in America. It's wild. No, no, no. I know the videos are all over the place, but I think that those videos are just the harbinger of a massive wave of migration out of the United States. It's going to be a big story in the next 10 years, 5 years, maybe even earlier, because people are starting to wake up. The deal here is raw. The wheels are spinning in the mud, and the Jeep is sliding into the quicksand. It's getting worse unless you're already a millionaire and a property owner. If you're not one of those two things or both, you're kind of getting fucked up every year. And more people are noticing it and starting to look like, where else in the world can I fucking take this job that I can do remotely and do it and save some money and live better, have a better style of living and a standard of living? And a lot of them are finding answers. South America, China, Israel, right? Maybe not Israel recently. But you get my drift. American expats, it's like becoming a thing, and I think it's going to start to be a big news story. Over 1 million people left the United States for China last year. It's the downside. The catch is they have no civil liberties that are anything recognizable to somebody from a more liberal Western society. So you can get gaffled up by the fucking police for talking shit about Xi Jinping, for protesting against the government, etc., etc., etc. You're not allowed to shit talk the regime. You're not allowed to really be like a political activist over there of any stripe, other than a proud and loyal member of the Communist Party of China that sets aside his personal wants for the greater glory of the fucking Chinese people and state, right? So, yeah, well, China has like kind of modernized and westernized in terms of its economic structure. Its governmental structure is still very much party politic, kind of, Chinese communism. Yeah, China will disappear your ass and shit. You really got you don't have the same legal recourses and protections you have in the United States against the government just seizing your shit, kicking you out of the country. You know what I mean? It's just not that way there. So that's the trade-off. So, right. So, freedom, but freedom to live in a trash can versus less freedom, but you live in a nice city that's walkable and you got friends and a lot of shit to do and good job and you don't have to work yourself to death. Yeah, you just tell yourself, like, look, my political life is over. No longer going to be grousing for political change, but that's it. Other than that, I'm not changing anything about the way I feel or think about things. I'm just going to go and get a job and have a life over there. You're more than likely going to do better over there than you're doing here. I looked at Uruguay for a while. I'm so afraid of going there because it is so volatile there. You look at what are their border countries, right? It's not good. It's Argentina and Brazil, right? So you gotta that region. I just feel like there's gonna be war and it's gonna be fucked up there. Um, but that's true everywhere now, right? I think there's a big giant war coming because these transfers of power where one economy starts to eat another economy, they almost always come with some sort of war. So let's be real. It's probably going to come to blows where World War III seems like it's right around the fucking corner here. But, that doesn't mean that afterwards this trend isn't going to continue, right? Because I don't think you're going to see America completely decimate China in any war. Now, I'm not saying we couldn't fuck them up or maybe even win. But I don't think China's getting absolutely set back to the Stone Age in a war. I don't think it's going to go nuclear. I just don't see it going that far. I think it's going to be a limited exchange. I think people outside of China, like in Southeast Asia and shit, are going to bear the brunt of it, and the U.S. as well, as is almost always the case. And I think at the end of it, both countries are going to be poorer for it, but both countries are going to still have the same trajectory they had before. So America's going to keep circling the toilet like the big red, white, and blue turd it is, and China's going to keep going. Costa Rica, hey, do what you want, man. Do what you want. I'm afraid going to America for the volatility. I'm close and can afford it, but yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know. What's here that you want to see? I mean, maybe if you like natural beauty, but don't come here for the memes or the fun. Like, our theme parks are all run down and crusty and touristy and packed with sweaty, fat, gross people like me. Yeah, you got nothing to see. Nothing to see there. Right? Like, Disneyland is not great. Trust me, you're not, unless you're 12 and into princesses, then it's cool. Or if you've got kids, then you might want to do the devil's bargain and go to Orlando or something. But if you're not that, don't even bother because it's just bullshit, man. It's expensive and bullshit. You know what I mean? There are beaches in other countries. There are other ways to get everything that America has. So, as it stands right now in America, if I was anything other than like a white person, straight out white, straight out straight white male. If I was a straight white male, right? I'm three of those, or I'm two of those three things, but whatever. And I was from some other country, I might consider coming to America and feel safe doing pretty much whatever I wanted. But dude, if I was a black person or a Muslim person or a Hispanic person or an Asian person or a woman or a trans person or any of that shit, and I was living outside the US and thinking about coming here, I probably wouldn't. Not right now. Seems a little fucking spooky here, don't it? Chiang Mai. I don't know if I've seen Chiang Mai. Did you look up Chengdu? It's all one word too. It's Chengdu. Chengdu. It's pretty fucking crazy. That's what I said. I did give a caveat at the beginning of that rant where I was like, look, if you're into nature, you can't really see that better in a lot of places than America. America is beautiful, has some beautiful places. But if it's just like entertainment or like, I want to see Hollywood, Hollywood is fucked. Half of Hollywood burnt anyway, and the shit that's there, it's just crackheads and grifters and fucking piss and turds, and it's bad, man. Hollywood sucks. It's hot. It stinks. It's fucked. And it's a tourist trap. Everything there is marked up 250%. You got no choice because you got nowhere else to go. You don't know your way around LA. Stay the fuck out of LA. Don't come. You want to punish America? Stop coming. Stop spending your dollars on American shit. Stop bringing your families over here to look at American shit. Like, you really want to punish America? You really want to help America too? Lose your fascination with America, right? Because that'll hasten our decline and get us closer to something like bouncing back from it. So you really want to help us? Lose your fascination with America, its position in the world, its products. Lose your touristic fascination with coming here. Start going to China. Start incentivizing China to build more tourism places and to develop more of their wildlife, or roads to more of their wild lands so that they can camp and do all the things that you like to do here. Because there's mountains, rivers, oceans, beaches, seas, valleys, deserts in China. So you're okay, man. China's huge. You really want to do that? You really want to send a message as a foreigner to America that you don't like where our politics are going? You're tired of our shit? We lose your fascination with our movies, our music, and our fashion. Start demanding, start a movement in Europe or China or wherever, right? Where it's like, American shit sucks. Like, looking like an American is looking like a dumb jackass that's missing teeth. Because I'm got to tell you, dude, that's 90% of America right there. Most of America is dumber than a bag of fucking ball peen hammers, bro. Seriously. Dumb. Blunt. Right? So quit being fascinated with dressing like us and looking like us and sounding like us and listening to our music. Stop letting our culture and our art dominate the national conversation, and start asking China and these other places, Europe, South America, Central America, start asking these places to step up and take a role in being your number one source for TV shows and movies and music, right? Because that's how we have kept our grip this long. We make nothing here except for schlop movies and schlop fucking TV shows and industry plant bands for you guys to eat up globally. So start fucking investing in your own art, right? Build an art revolution in your country and start challenging America in the last place that it has. Because I'm telling you, we need a collapse, right? The fraud has gotten completely out of control, and the people holding on to all this fiat currency need to be held to account, and they need to be punished. And the only way you can punish these people when they hold all the power is to bring the economy to its knees. And the only reason that America holds sway over the global fucking consciousness right now is because of our entertainment industry and our cultural radiation, our fashion, our music, our movies, all of this shit. It's a hegemony right now. You guys need to fucking stop. Because we need you to stop. Because you're funding all of this shit over here. Stop buying our shitty products. Don't buy an Apple, anything. Go get you a Huawei phone or whatever the fuck they make over there. Serious. Stop buying our stupid fucking clothes. They're stupid. Look at this shit. It's stupid. Don't dress like an American. Don't do it. I know Huawei makes good shit. The only thing you got to know is that, like, the government probably has spyware hidden in there somewhere, hardwired into it. But whatever. Other than that, it's a badass phone, probably better than an iPhone. So, you know. True. As if our government doesn't have spyware on our shit. Point taken. People like K-dramas and shit here. Yeah, but I mean, it's niche. People like Breaking Bad more than they like K-dramas. K-drama has less people caring about it, looking for it, wanting it, and asking for it than Breaking Bad-esque shows do. Right? So we got to stop that. People, you guys got to start. You rip us off, is what I'm saying. Rip off our music, rip off our aesthetic, make our aesthetic global, make it your own, blend it with your own cultures, and take it from us, because it's the only thing keeping this big turd afloat right now. That's it. Right? Our industry is still pretty fucking monstrous and significant, but the only thing that really keeps people buying that shit and keeps that relevant is the fact that everybody wants to be here, everybody wants to be like us, because we had all these years of prosperity to build up this fucking crazy entertainment industry, and now the whole world wants it. The whole world needs to figure out that you're living in the fucking 21st century. You can do it yourselves. You can make these movies. The technology is there. There are artistic people in your country. Just a matter of the government seizing on it. And I'll tell you which government is doing it. China. China is investing tons and tons and tons of money and influence and effort into making a Chinese entertainment industry. Movies, music. I'm not saying they're good yet. I'm just saying they're learning how to do it. So, TikTok, right? Anyway, speaking of TikTok, I gotta go. See you later. Bye.